All right, let's talk about the playtest. The first EPTU of 2025. We did it, folks. We're here. We're here. Good job, everybody. Bring it in. God damn. We did it. It is the year of EPTU finally. Let's hope that we see several more of these for different things throughout the year. But we have finally seen a Evocati tech preview, Vulkan and AI behavior integrations. Am I allowed to have this on the screen? I don't even know. Actually, no, I'm scared. What it included was, notes and talking about the builds are completely fine, but no streaming or sharing videos, content, audio, files from the game. From the game, they say. The EPTU updates, patch, are for Vulkan and AI behavior integrations. We covered both of these in fairly in-depth videos earlier, I think last month, maybe? Back when we first heard this was going to start happening. It might have been earlier this month. But the plan was to run a 4-hour tech preview for Evocati testers. That is a smaller NDA-covered focus group of testing. Generally, the generally followed logic there is that they don't want these kinds of tests to be used as footage representing the whole game, because things are pretty rough when they're still in Evocati's phase. So they wanted to run this for 4 hours. I heard that it was so unstable it only ran for 2, hence they did not put these out to the public. The main focus here was to test out FPS AI and to test out the Vulkan improvements from the new branch of development that they've had. Now, we heard from Ali Brown, who is kind of running a lot of the advancements in Vulkan and the rendering engine overall in Star Citizen, that they haven't actually branched out, or rather they haven't integrated their own branch of Star Citizen since before the year began, I believe. Might be able to find that. Might take me a cool minute. So last he updated us on it, he said they've been integrating the latest renderer and other tech from Squadron over into Star Citizen's main branch and are about to begin testing and bug fixing. Don't get too excited yet, it can take quite some time to get the patch stream and then an actual public release. We are still not at public release, almost 2 months later now. So clearly, yes, he was right about that. This will include major changes to Vulkan, some upscaling changes, and both CPU and GPU optimizations, though some larger optimizations will come slightly later. GI will unfortunately not be included, as that needs more optimization, and it's missing a few features for Star Citizen that Squadron 42 didn't need. If you go back to our video covering all of this stuff, Vulkan in general and what it was supposed to be, it's on Space Tomato 2. Probably 2 weeks ago I posted it. That channel is great if you want to find stuff to just research topics. We try to cover everything on that channel. And you'll be able to get a lot deeper dive into this statement, into what he was saying about this 3 years ago, I think now, 4 years ago. The plan they're still following as we're watching it step by step. And just in general, get a good understanding of all this. I'm not going to go all the way through it. So this was in February. He said that after the rollout of server meshing and the huge impact it's had on the game, as a result, the Star Citizen team haven't been able to take a full new version of the engine in a while, because this would bring potentially instability and slow down the quality of life improvements for players, and also likely prevent regular timely releases, all of which are critical for continued engagement. But the Squadron 42 team have been road testing Vulkan along with HDR and multi-threaded rendering, so hopefully most of the kinks are ironed out by the time they reach Star Citizen, though I won't be able to predict when exactly that will be. So, from this post, it is very possible to imply, it might not be completely true, I might be getting an implication from this that I shouldn't be, but it does seem like up until they are ready to drop Vulkan into the game, they did not do an update to the game engine in Star Citizen overall. So whatever it is that they put together for this first Vulkan update, it sounds like they were testing on 4.2.1 build in the EPTU. I'm not really sure what the business is with that, but when they do the update, it might actually be a pretty significant new code base for the game. Could be a time of more instability. Kind of falls in line with how the test itself went. So it's... and And it also could explain why the update itself was so big. I'm hearing it was like 40 plus gigabytes to download. Could be just a really, really, really large part of the game is being refreshed here. And we will have to dig through the pain of that, but we might also see some solid benefits from it. Now, what they say here in the notes is that graphics and engine optimizations are coming from Squadron 42. The game should just be more performant in certain situations. Keep an eye out for performance comparisons to the current 4.2.1 live. That doesn't exist anymore. But they do think the performance will make a rise here. Obviously not the performance that we got, but something kind of similar. Vulkan has been enabled by default, and you shouldn't need to set anything for it to work. You will have the option to switch back to DX11 in the menu if you want to compare tech. This will require a client restart. I think this is a very, very big moment for them to move the entire engine over to this new API for running is a big tech hurdle. It's another one of the tech hurdles that they set out on and started telling us a lot about years ago. I mean, I want to say this was popping up in like 2018 CitizenCon. 7 years maybe? 6-7 years they've been talking about this. So along with server meshing, this was another big one. Obviously, persistent entity streaming was another big one. They're hitting a lot of their big tech hurdles lately. Obviously, they need to for Squadron and Star Citizen, but it's good to see. AI behavior improvements integration was also part of this EPTU test. They say there is now a more consistent and complete first reaction implementation. This is how AI first responds to perception information like vision, hearing, radar, and other events, depending on time and event strength, dependent on how far away the audio or visual event was. This also includes, very interestingly, local sounds. So if you are sneaking up on somebody, and you know this is common in stealth games, but it's not really something that I get to hear about actually developed for games that are more shooter based. But if you are in a place that is loud, you can make more sound. This is common, like I just said, in a game like Splinter Cell. If you are in a place that's quiet, you have to be more quiet. And they're supposedly making it so that the NPCs notice this and we can have more in-depth stealth gameplay. So like if you're sneaking around in an Idris and you're infiltrating like an NPC controlled Idris, you wait for a ship to start its engines up and then you can more easily sneak past NPCs, stuff like that. They said that we increased a perception meter and this determines when AI will perform different levels of perception behavior, starting with turning their head, then turning their body, triggering an investigation, or going into combat. This is all supported by animations to show a different silhouette when switching between the animations behaviors, whilst remaining responsive to the actions of the players. So if they hear you, they might go, huh! And then if they see you in real life, they might go, huh! In the animations and the silhouettes. That's not actually true. Continuing on, they say we've also added hooks in for the designers to script level-specific behaviors when AI reach different awareness levels, like radio for backup. Our tactics, such as Defender, Strafer, and Pusher, have all had major overhauls to be more distinct, whilst allowing customization of response through different traits that allow the designers to set up the preferences for AIs to use cover. That's an easy one to find. We've seen almost all this stuff get developed in real time throughout the years. I can show you some of the videos here. We've also heard it a lot, actually. If you just go to any monthly report from last year and you go to the AI section, there is a real good chance that it has something about AI perception. Let's see. In fact, I could just search for perception. There we go. The AI team added a significant piece of new functionality. This enables perception data to be shared between AI within the same group, giving the designers more control over how NPCs are brought into fights and how they work together. For this, the team added a variety of entity changes, including AI group entity, AI group entity component, AI group entity, AI group entity, on friendly call to arms heard. Elsewhere, the team reviewed and made improvements to how AI used wild lines, including adding new combat communication wild lines such as surrendering, grenade reactions and throwing, investigation, hit reactions, reloading, and perception reactions. Let's try another one. Let's go April 2024, just to see just how common this might have been last year. Scroll up into this one, search for perception. Okay, so I got unlucky on that one. Hold on, one more. Maybe it wasn't as common as I thought it was. All right, fine. It wasn't that common. I just only happened to get the perfectly right month when I got in. But a lot of the AI stuff that did go on last year was based around their behaviors. They're talking about it here. While many behaviors will be based on work done for Squadron 42, the expansive nature of the PU will require bespoke additions. So it's not just perception, it's also the behaviors that they take. They began meeting with design and creative directors to walk through various locations looking for opportunities to clean up existing behaviors or add new ones. All of this and the other stuff I'm going to skip that may or may not actually have been AI related, I might just making it up, is leading up into these improvements being added. And these improvements are linked back to CitizenCon 2023, where they gave us this whole big list about the different types of traits that AI would have, from always fleeing to blind firing, aggressive and reckless to friendly fire, defender override to suppressor. We've seen some of these start to come into the game as well, and as is being mentioned, even in ASD, the NPCs act a little bit different when they engage you. Going back in time, we also have videos like this, where they showed us literally the names of the AI here. And you can see how they're acting a little different. The pusher's getting up close and personal, the strafers keeping mid-distance and sticking around, and the defenders are keeping some extra distance, sniping you from afar. This was back in 2022 they were showing us, but it was related to a lot of that Squadron 42 focused NPC they were working on. Here is another example. This looks like a level actually from Squadron 42 where you'll be playing. And you can see that the NPCs engage in different ways. Some of them rush up front and try to shoot you, others hang back. It's pretty standard for an FPS game, but it can be easy to forget that Star Citizen and Squadron 42 are FPS games. You know, they're very much spaceship flight games, but they're also action adventure FPS shooters. And I know, I don't know about all of you, but I've definitely felt the AI become more engaging over the last year. What else is continued in these AI improvements? Cover usage has been improved, including better support for switching body direction, which way is faced when in cover. And the addition of cover reactions, animations used to provide responsive feedback when the player compromises an AI's cover by moving around to strafe them. And they will no longer continue blindly firing as if a player has done nothing. A large part of the combat tactic work has been adjusted. Our TPS, otherwise known as Tactical Position Queries, used to determine what cover and non-cover positions to use across each of the different tactics, with specific queries for each one, a better understanding of what is required, and fallback cases for when no perfect cover or position is available. All of the combat behavior has had a lot of work put into integrating other behaviors in the combat we like. Interesting way to say it. Ammo management, choosing when to move to cover to reload, pick up ammo from ammo crates, switch to sidearms when moving. We've seen that plenty. I think we've seen that all the way back here. This is like, I don't even know if I have that video. Downstate reactions, beverage, development. Yeah, that would have been around this time though. 2022-ish. 2021. They were showing us how NPCs would be looking for ammo from ammo crates. Grenade throwing to draw out a target when unreachable. This works more consistently. There are built-in timeouts to space grenade usage across a group. Grenade collision improvements and implementing functionality to explode a grenade if it's dropped, if the AI is shot whilst throwing. Medic behavior, ensuring the animation flows for medics work more consistently across reviving and healing. Now that one definitely we know that one well. That's this guy. They do this a lot. Funny enough, I've never actually seen an NPC get another NPC up. I always just see them trying to before I kill them. It's a little rude. Weapon improvements. Support for more firing modes to allow the AI to use new weapons. Use them weapons, boy. Beam and dynamic conditions, including weapons that overheat. Also, a general overhaul of the AI weapon interface to simplify and unify response. Improvements to aiming to support the target being partially behind cover. So, generally, this is just like competent AI update. And the AI hasn't been bad lately. It's actually, since server meshing, performed fairly well. And I would say definitely the pyro outposts are one place where they never seem to work, and that needs to be figured out. But otherwise, across the game, they've become a lot better at being threatening, telling us where they are, acting as a group, fighting in different scenarios. So I'm glad to see that there's another AI update coming to them from Squadron 42. I hope we see another one after this, to be honest. I would want these AI to actually be very good because they need to be very competent outside of combat for this game. It's great that we're seeing some stuff come over from Squadron 42. We have been waiting for it for 2 years. I'm glad it's actually happening. And I hope that it has a very noticeable difference when it does hit, but it sounds like it hasn't been able to be tested all that much just yet because the stability was so low. The 4-hour playtest was actually only 2 hours, and most people didn't get to experience AI combat. Looks like there were some rendering problems going on. AI and oh, I can't show these. My bad. Just gonna cut that part out. There were things that happened. We'll stick to that. And it only being 2 hours means that they're probably gonna have to run another one, hopefully soon, and hopefully that can. I don't think this is 4.3. I think this is going to be a 4.4 kind of thing. Something that we'll see closer to the end of the year. If they're only just hitting the EPTU now. But maybe if they make some quick progress on it, we'll see it by 4.3.1. But I really do think 4.4 is going to make the most sense here. Either way, long update, but hopefully a good one. Hope you got the info.